Hi everyone, I'm Munya and welcome back to elevate-psych. If you watched last episode, you would have signed up to get our exam planner, and if you haven't, pause the video, do it now. You need it. So stage one of our preparation is making sure you know all the info. Take a look at column 1 of your exam planner. I've laid out every single topic and subtopic of your course. Anything that's in the specification is fair game, meaning it can come up in your exam. So it's all listed in the planner. The job for stage 1 of preparation is to go through your notes and make sure they match what's in the exam planner. Don't just skim over your notes. Go through them like a detective. Inspect every single word. And if you don't have the perfect notes, go and do them. But what are perfect notes? Well, firstly, let me tell you what they're not, okay? They are not overly detailed. Most people adopt the philosophy that more is better. This is wrong for 2 reasons. Firstly, if you want detail, go to the textbook. It will state the theories better than you can. Secondly, remember you have to remember this information in the exam. So ultimately, what is easier to remember? Your entire textbook or small chunks of the most crucial information? So to make notes that contain the right level of information, you want to use your exam planner. As you'll see in the planner, topic 1 relates to introductory topics in psychology. And then I've included all of the necessary information around that topic. Therefore, the exam planner is a skeleton for how your notes should be structured. So we know about the level of information, but what about presentation? Does it even matter? Yes. Now, I'm not saying go all Picasso on your notes. I'm simply saying that using things like colour and structure will actually help you by acting as memory cues. Let me show you what I mean. You're going to see on screen a question that was worth 12 marks. Outline and evaluate Bowlby's theory of attachment. Now, down below, I provided a sample answer to this question. So, pause the video and have a quick read. Okay, so that 12-mark answer was written in approximately 750 words. So let's have a look at the notes I would have used to answer this question. They have about 75 words. The main heading is the consequences of disrupted attachment, and this is then broken down into subheadings revolving around John Bowlby's influential body of work. We start with the subheading of Bowlby's maternal deprivation hypothesis, which means this will outline Bowlby's ideas when it came to normal and disrupted attachment. The trigger phrase maternal monotropy 1969 reminds us of 3 important details. Firstly, we see that keyword monotropy and we use this to reference how Bowlby emphasized one main attachment relationship in a child's life. However, when we then see the word maternal, we start to shift our explanation towards how Bowlby saw the mother's involvement in particular as being the most important. And of course, finally, we see that these ideas, these concepts were asserted around 1969. Moving on to signalling care loop, we begin to describe how the typical attachment relationship between a mother and their child should work. Signaling behavior from the child being met with care and affection from the mother. And our final trigger words, as you can see, relate to the consequences of a disrupted or broken attachment. Moving on to our next subheading, evidence 4, we now know we are evaluating these ideas with complementary and contrasting research. Having a quick glance over the trigger words in this section tells us when the study was done, who the participants were, what they were measured on, and what the outcomes were. Our final subheading repeats this process, but this time for evidence against. Ultimately though, we can see how if you went into an exam tomorrow and it was a question on Bowlby's maternal deprivation hypothesis, it would be much easier to remember our colour-coded trigger words than the 750-word essay we'd written initially. If I'm trying to remember a date, I just think of everything written in blue, and that narrows down the pool of information to all the blue stuff. If I'm thinking about names, green, terms, red. I've also put information in italics, which adds a whole nother layer of cues. You can also see I've split the page into 2, which minimises the amount I write and limits me strictly to the trigger words. Because remember, our notes are about the essentials. Leave the detail to the textbook. So to recap, your job for stage 1 is to make sure you have notes relating to every area of the exam planner. The easiest way to do this is to print off your exam planner, get your notes, hold them side by side, and make sure everything matches up. If you've got perfect notes for a topic, put a tick in the green box. If they're decent but could use a bit of polishing, put a tick in the yellow box. And finally, if you've got bad or no notes for a topic, put a tick in the red box. And your final job is to fix up any notes that were marked as red or yellow. Once your notes are all done, you can join me for the next episode as we get started on stage 2. I've been Munya. Peace!